welcome to episode 24 of the On a Family Basis podcast. My name is Jake, and let me unmute you, Dallas, because you are loud.
I'm Dallas.
And I'm Ben.
And we are three cousins. This is started off with four, but we are down to three cousins. Talking about baseball, talking about what's going on in each other's lives. As of recently, and since last week, we had a holiday weekend. We had a 3-day weekend and Memorial Day weekend. So, what'd you guys do for the weekend? Ben, I know you went to a Cubs game yesterday. So, how was that game?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was WWE Day, and so they were
Oh,
giving out fanny packs with a picture of the championship on it.
yeah.
I didn't end up getting one because you had to buy specific tickets in order to get those.
Mm,
So that sucked. But
yeah.
beyond that, it was a good time. I mean, the first pitch I think was at 12,
Yeah.
and I was already pretty shit faced by 10. So
Mm,
um, got started early, got after it. Viv and Drew came over, and then we went to the game. And from what I can remember, it was a good time. I know the Cubs lost, but that's not unsurprising. Um, but yeah, we just had bleacher seats, so we were just sitting on the bleachers. It was a beautiful day. It's hot. It was like high 80s, no
yeah.
clouds. So the sun was just beating down on us all day, but it was a good time.
Cool. Uh, Dallas, what'd you end up doing for the weekend?
We watched new season or volume of Stranger Things and the
Yeah.
Obi-Wans, and we went to a cookout yesterday.
Cool.
It was cool.
Yeah. I'm gonna say they pretty much the same thing outside of a cookout. So Dallas, did you end up watching all Stranger Things so far?
Yep. Yeah, we did it all in one day. Yeah.
That's a lot of TV in one day.
Yeah, it was like 7 hours, something like that.
It's like
Yeah.
9.
Was it? There were 9 episodes?
No,
Dang.
each episode is over an hour and 10 minutes long at least. It's somewhere like
Nice.
an hour and 40. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, it took us 2 days.
Well, I guess we did. Did we do 2 days? All right. It was like a day and a half.
All right.
24 hours.
Ben, what'd you end up doing besides the game yesterday? Did you watch Stranger Things, Obi-Wan, something else? What'd you do?
No, I watched I watched the first episode of Stranger Things. We didn't watch, or I didn't watch anything beyond that. Hesu watched it all.
Yeah.
I haven't watched Obi-Wan yet. I'll wait until all of that comes out to watch it at one time. Otherwise, yeah, I don't really remember. I don't know. I don't think there was anything special. Obviously basketball, but beyond that, not much.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a holiday weekend, but for some reason, it just maybe because everything came out Friday, it just felt like a TV weekend.
Mm.
So, but yeah, so seems like pretty much everyone is watching Stranger Things and all that because there's one particular song that went to number one on iTunes just because of that show.
Mm.
So I feel like a lot of people are watching that right now.
Yeah,
But
it's a really good show.
yeah, but unlike that song, which everyone is listening to in the show, is everyone watching it. The Chicago Cubs, if we're gonna hit first base, is one thing that's kind of hard to watch. I mean, really, ever since the first 3 weeks of the year, it's been kind of hard to watch. Ben was there for game one of the doubleheader against Brewers, on Monday. But the week before that, Like I predicted, the Cubs played the Reds in Cincinnati, and then they played 2 games against the White Sox. I don't know if you guys remember, I asked us to predict what the record was going to be for that week. And Dallas and I both guessed 3-3, which they ended up doing that. And what I said was that we're going to split both series because they just can't get over 500. And that's what ended up happening. Um, and then Monday, so yesterday, as we're recording, but when this comes out Monday, 2 days before, they had that doubleheader against the Brewers and lost both. So back to business as usual. Now, I want to ask you guys this question. So, I want to ask you guys what's something encouraging and what's something that's more disheartening. So, let's start with the good thing about the Cubs so far. What's more encouraging? The Cubs' offense? I'm talking about the previous week, not against the Brewers, because the Brewers just you have a good pitching staff, but against the Reds and the White Sox, what's more encouraging? The offense scoring like 5.8 runs per game over that week, or Keegan Thompson and Marcus Stroman having good starts against the White Sox.
So when we did our rundown a couple weeks ago, I talked about how the ugly and the bad were both Schwindel and Wisdom. They had a pretty decent week last week,
Yeah,
and so that is encouraging to see that they're hitting, and it looks like the rest of the team is hopefully coming around. I mean, they scored what 6 runs at the game I went to, so
yeah,
that's not bad. Um, Granted, it was against I think a rookie starter. I think we both had rookie starters making their debuts yesterday,
yeah, we did.
but all things considered, getting the start out of Stroman, that's what you expect. That's what you paid him for. That's what you want. Um, but Keegan Thompson's been a nice addition for us so far this year. So I would say overall, him specifically is the thing that I'm most impressed with. But I'm going to look glass half full and just be excited and hopeful that the offense can continue it. Obviously 5-6 runs a game is ideal. That would be great, but it's also kind of unrealistic based on who we have. But
Right.
I'll be optimistic. I'll
Yeah.
say the offense.
So, Dallas, what do you think? Is it more encouraging that the offense seems to be scoring runs, or people who we expect to pitch well actually pitch well? So, is it more encouraging that the offense, or is it more encouraging that starters are actually having good outings?
I'd like to say the offense. It's nice to see the bats come around. Uh, yeah, it's just more encouraging. Of course, people are supposed to do what they're supposed to do, right? So like pitching, you're supposed to show up and pitch. So I guess seeing the development on the offensive is always nice. I think that's much more encouraging.
I don't. So, I think in the past couple episodes, we've talked about the pitching and the starters being uh, below average is a nice way to say it, if not the worst part of the Cubs. I am more encouraged that starting pitching has been decent. The problem on the flip side is that they scored 5.8 runs per game, but they're 500, which means if their starters are doing well and they're scoring 6 runs a game, that means the bullpen is not performing well. So I'm encouraged that the starters are starting to turn it around. So that's something we complained about as Cubs fans. So for them to put out some good outings, like yesterday, I actually wanted to talk about this real quick. So yesterday we had a rookie starter in the first game that Ben went to. His name is Matt Swarmer. And apparently his story is worth noting. Just talking about starting pitching. Apparently in the COVID 2020 season, everyone was affected by it. But apparently, his story is that to stay fresh and actually face minor league hitting, because again, if you remember, 2020, they didn't even have minor league baseball. So to stay fresh as a minor league player, he pitched in adult leagues. And the quote that he came out with was, let me see if I can pull it up and find it. He said, "I was facing guys that almost didn't have hair on top. I was just trying to find anywhere to play and just find live hitters. It was definitely different. And then to go out 2 years later with a good slider, a good fastball as well, and to have a decent game out there. I think he only had one earned run. I'm encouraged that even rookie pitchers are doing something.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
if
Yeah.
some and I don't know if you guys saw his press conference, but he does not come across as a veteran, like talk, speaking to the media. But I mean, if you go from pitching to adult leagues, and then 2 years later you're in the pros, maybe you won't sound like a vet. So
Yeah, it's a pretty
yeah,
decent time. Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
yeah. So but no, on the flip side of the encouraging part, I want to ask you guys a more cynical question as Cubs fans. So, what's more disheartening, discouraging that you've seen the past week plus from the Cubs? Is it losing two to Cincinnati, one of the worst teams, if not the worst team in baseball, and in one of those games they gave up 20 runs? Is it that? Or is it giving up late leads to the White Sox and then to the Brewers? Which is more discouraging, losing to the Reds or the bullpen falling apart? What do you think, Ben?
I'd say the bullpen falling apart. You're gonna lose games. I mean, that just happens. There's obviously not a baseball team that's ever gonna go 0 and 162, right? That's just crazy. So you're gonna lose games even to the Reds. The worst place teams beat the first place teams. That's just the point of baseball. That's just kind of how it goes.
Right.
But when you're in the opportunity or you're in the position to either win, take the lead, or potentially keep a game, tight at the end to give yourself a chance, you want that consistency and you need a good bullpen to do it. Um, and they certainly have not been able to accomplish that. Like you said,
Mm.
blew the leads against the White Sox, and it just it's a bummer. I mean, like obviously their bullpen isn't great. There's like not Hall of Fame, names coming out there. You're not trotting out
Right.
Mariano Rivera, but you still kind of you have higher expectations than what they've been able to deliver so far. So I'm going to say the bullpen. I mean, because even those wins that you blow, I mean, those obviously add up. You know what I mean? And every team's
Yeah.
going. Every team at least once a year is going to score 20 runs and give up 20 runs. It just kind of happens. So that is just a weird outlier. But um, yeah, I would say the bullpen for sure for me.
Dallas, would you agree with that?
Yeah, just because it was against the Sox, and I feel like that's even like for as bad as the Cubs are, like the fans always show up for the Cubs Sox games
Right.
and to yeah, and just to continuously fall behind, and it's a little disheartening. But I mean, then again, losing to the Reds, those are the ones that you should consider easy wins. Like those are supposed to help your record. It's not
Right.
supposed to split series with the Cincy Reds. So I would say that losing to the Sox like that is just a hair more disheartening. But you gotta take the easy wins. Like that's just
Yeah.
really
Yeah, I'm very split on this because as I, I don't know what it's like to be a Cubs fan, grow up as a Cubs fan outside of the city of Chicago. But here in the city, or growing up around the city, those games, those series are big. Like those are bragging rights amongst your friends and family. So I would say it's disheartening coming from the city, but I would say it's overall. I would say it's more disheartening that they lose to Cincy. And granted, since the Reds started off with only three, there were like three and like 20 or three and high teens, 20 losses. After they ended that bad run, they've had the third best record in the pros behind that. I think it's the Yankees and Dodgers. So they've been playing well. But I think, yeah, as you said, Dal, flip because I think you should win 3 or 4 against the Reds. I mean, it's just my opinion overall. But in this living in the South Side right now, man, it would have been nice to win 2
Would
at
have been nice.
guaranteed rate. That'd be nice.
At the G spot,
Oh my gosh, I will not call that. But go ahead.
Orgasm Stadium.
Is that what you're calling it?
Hey, whatever happens between those 9 innings is my business.
I didn't know
mean,
that's what people were calling it. I think that's hilarious. I approve of
What?
this. The G spot for guaranteed.
G spot, not the orgasm thing. That's I just made that up.
I'm
G-spot,
kind of into
people do
that
call
too.
it.
I'm not mad at either.
I mean, Ben, you did just share it on the podcast, so apparently it's not just between you and the field.
There you go. Yeah.
So kind of made it public. So
Yeah.
this week the Cubs they started off 0-2, and we're recording on Tuesday before the third game of the series against the Brewers. So they have 4 games. They play 9 games in 7 days, which I feel like should be illegal or wrong overall or not allowed. But
And I'm just saying, if baseball games go 4 hours,
right.
they play 2 games. That's only an 8-hour work shift, bro.
Don't
I'm just
I'm
saying.
gonna mute you. Okay.
I'm all for the common man. Common man works 8-hour days
Oh god.
for a
Get
nickel.
out.
For a
Yeah,
nickel.
and that would be a good point if they were not practicing and playing before and after games. But I digress. This week they play 9 games in 7 days, 4 against the Brewers and 5 against the Cardinals. So just like last week,
Double headers
we
every.
get doubleheader on Monday, doubleheader. No, absolutely. You're saying doubleheader every day? No way. That
Dude, you can get the whole season taken out in 2 months.
Yeah, you're right.
3
And
months.
we'd have horrible baseball to watch. That'd be fun. I mean, it could be fun for a lot of home runs and stuff. But anyway, so 9 games in 7 days. 4 against the Brewers, 5 against the Cardinals. We know they've started 0-2 so far this year or this week. So what do you guys expect the rest of the week to go? They have 7 games left. What do you think the record is at the end of the week?
It'll be 2-7. They'll win 2 games. One against each team, and then lose the rest of them. So 2-9 or 2-7 total, but 2-5 from here on out.
Man, it'll be a fun week, huh?
It'll be something, yeah. And we
Dallas,
don't
are
have
you?
basketball till Thursday, so Thursday or Friday.
Yeah, that's
Are you-
true. Dallas, are you more optimistic or pessimistic than 2-7?
More optimistic, but I mean,
I think you just cut.
Yeah, your audio's going out.
There you go. Nope.
Nope.
nah.
There it is.
Yeah, go ahead.
Wow, 3-6. That's what I was saying.
All right. So more optimistic, but not much.
Slightly.
So let's hope Dallas is more right now.
Well,
Yeah,
with
yeah.
our track records of guessing women's soccer league teams, don't be on my side.
Well,
Gang, gang.
that's just true. Um, I'm I'm gonna go with Dallas on this for the. I'm just blindly wanting. I just want them to win 3 games. That's it. There's nothing else behind it. So can kind of move on from it.
There we go.
So the story of this past week, I don't know if you guys saw it, but Friday before the game, the Giants and the Reds were starting a weekend series. Before the game Friday, there was a lot of drama, and it kind of came out over the weekend what happened. So the first headline that came out was Tommy Pham slaps Jock Peterson, and that's it. Okay. And then over the weekend, it became very clear from both sides what happened, what led up to the slap before the game, and then the MLB suspended Tommy Pham for 3 games. Granted, those 3 games were only for the series, so he's not really suspended going forward. He's just suspended for what's already happened. But so he was suspended for 3 games over fantasy football drama and group texts and memes. And he slapped him over a disrespectful meme. So I want to ask you guys this. You guys have played in fantasy football leagues, right?
You see, that's right above my head, right over there, right there.
What is that?
That is my fantasy trophy that I've
Ah,
won 3 times in 4 years. So yeah, Jake, I know a little bit about fantasy football. Let me tell you
all
this:
right.
I have been the type of person, and you guys will know this, having known me basically my entire life. Is
Yeah,
I like to shit talk people.
yeah.
You know, I'm an agitator. I like to get under people's skin. I like to annoy people. Um, and I've said some things that probably deserve where I deserve to get smacked, but it's never happened. And so um, obviously there's a line somewhere. Obviously, maybe they didn't have as good of a relationship with each other as you do with like most other people you're in a fantasy league with.
Right.
From what I understand, it's probably like a big money league. So they were like, hey, let's just get guys from around the league, throw in 10 grand or whatever. I'm just making that number up. I don't know, but let's
Yeah.
throw in 10 grand. Everybody plays, and when you start playing for high money like that, things do get intense. I mean, if they were at a poker table and something like that happened, like it would be understandable. Like not understandable, but it would. It makes sense because when money's on the line, things change. Things become different.
And to quote Tommy Pham in his initial remarks is now I'll state the quote. Now I'll actually say the whole quote just so you understand how he's feeling about it. Even still, he said, "You're fucking with my money. Then you're gonna say some disrespectful shit. There's a code to this." I
I don't
mean,
understand. There's so many unwritten codes about apparently everything. It's like somebody should
yeah,
just write them
yeah.
down. Write them down, codify it. That way we have rules. Like if you call me a motherfucker, I get to slap you in the face. That's how, right? Or whatever. I don't know, man. It's crazy to me that I mean, is this the first time that they've seen each other since the Cincinnati
Uh,
and the
I
Giants?
believe so. I
Okay,
believe
I was gonna
so.
say, did they
And
play in
yeah,
spring training or
and
anything? Or
and they weren't friends like
Apparently,
before this. Apparently,
yeah, I could tell because
I
shit
mean,
got heated. I mean, things got escalated.
let's be fair. Actually, if it was a friend and you're competitive, I mean, I punched some friends before over video games.
You hit
So
Dallas in the face with a N64 controller.
true.
I
I've
mean,
seen it with
I
my
mean,
own eyes.
I mean, you had it coming.
He didn't not. I mean, we're playing No Mercy. You don't have it not coming. I can tell you that.
I don't remember this. I'm not saying it didn't happen, but what
Yeah,
happened? I don't remember that.
Dallas, did your dentist remember?
yeah. That's how I got the chip.
Just chip tooth.
I did
Dude, that was
not
the
know
same
that.
day, Jake. That was the same day. So I was living on Marshfield at the time in Homewood, right behind Willow.
Okay. Okay.
And I don't know if you remember, but we had that front porch. It was like the tiniest little porch, but there was like 4 stairs going up. And so it was super snowy that day, and our parents, all 4 of our parents, just left us together. Hey, first mistake.
Always a
I don't know
bad
what they were doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't bright. Second, we were doing wrestling moves off of the balcony, like the porch area, on top of each other. I think Dallas maybe hit you too hard, so you got mad. Later on in the evening, that's all it took. That's all.
So it's his fault.
Jake didn't need 12 hours to cool down. Jake apparently needed, I don't know, forever to cool down because he was going to get his comeuppance one way or the other. Yeah,
He was-
and it just so happened, you're playing N64, things get heated, people, competition, baby. And one thing leads to another, and for the first time in our lives, Dan and I weren't fighting, and we're sitting there like, what?
Yeah.
How do we handle this situation on the other side?
Oh, the turntables. You're like, oh no.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
good times.
I don't remember that, but I certainly remember. I mean, there was an occasion where someone was talking a lot of crap while I was playing a game I'd never played before, which was Halo. I was playing Halo for some reason, and I started punching this guy. Now, you guys all know who this is, but I just want to say it on this. But is talking smack?
I have a guess.
Don't say it on here, please. Let's not air this.
Yo, he's not listening. He doesn't watch this shit.
I mean, either way, let's not bring it. If it's a fight between us, that's fine. Let's go. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I'm not sure
what. Without saying any names, I have also wanted to punch him a lot.
Oh,
so it's fine. It's understood, and he's wanted to punch me multiple times as well. I'm sure.
All right, so that's kind of the question I wanted to ask, is because we're talking about fighting over video games and all this nonsense. Why? And maybe this is a deeper question, maybe it's not. It's that, why is it that something as frivolous or kind of as a game like fantasy football or a video game, why does that rise to that emotional level? Because with people who have never experienced fantasy football or video games in the same room as other people, nowadays you're online, so you can't punch someone. But back then, you were with each other. What is it about that competitive, like back and forth, talking smack? What is it about that makes it like kind of a fertile ground for a fight?
Competition. It's like Benny was saying. Competition, man. And then somebody's rubbing it in your face that you're not doing well. You're like, you know what?
Then, yeah, I mean, I know you guys know this, obviously. It's just one of those things when you're, like, for me, in my own head, I already know I'm losing, and I already know I'm not playing well. I don't fucking need you to tell me that I'm not playing well or that you're beating me. Like, I already know. But on the same side, I was the one who was like, you suck at this game. You're terrible. You're the worst person ever. You should, just dump all your players to free agency and quit the league. Just leave.
Just retire.
Yeah, just hang it up. So I get being on both sides of it. But yeah, I think just if you're a competitive person by nature, right? And some people just aren't, right? Some people can just play video games like Animal Crossing or something where you just have tasks to do and you go about
and that's great for them.
And that's it, right? And that's what you like, and that's your thing. But if you're playing a competitive game against other people, especially if you're in a room with someone, like if it was just 2 of us playing, fine. But then when your buddies are there or your cousins are there and you're all egging each other on, and it's getting more heated, especially the way that we grew up being as like physical and combative sometimes as we were, and doing different stuff like that. It just happens. I think it's just one of those things that if you have like a competitive streak, and you kind of at some point you have to have like a not an aggressive streak, but kind of like the same. They have to be running kind of parallel to each other, where you have like a little bit of like craziness and then also like super competitiveness. And then when those two things kind of collide in an environment where there's other people, because I'm sure it wasn't just Jock Peterson making fun of Tommy Pham. Like if this isn't a group chat, there's other people egging you on it or laughing at him, and that's just building. That just builds into the. I don't know if it's embarrassment or I don't know the situation, like if Jock Peterson beat Tommy Pham or what. I don't even know what it was about, what they were mad about. But I just know that when you get in a room with somebody like that, or you get thing, and then the competitive juices start flowing, and people start saying stuff and laughing, and it just builds, and then you just get mad. And some people can get mad and they can deal with it, like, okay, I'm gonna walk away from the situation, whatever. Some people,
Slap people.
smack the shit out of the other guy, and there you have it. Like, it's just one of those things.
Get it? I stopped. I can't play
Yeah.
because I get mad. Like Marty beat me, and I practiced for like 3. I was so fucking angry. He kept beating. I was trying, and he just kept beating, and he was just laughing. And I was like, "Fuck."
Yeah, I mean, and you handle things so normally.
That's great.
So I can totally see how that went.
Oh,
There's
100%.
probably you probably shook hands like gentlemen afterwards and walked to your separate rooms and said, "Good day, sir."
I don't want to play this one anymore. I'm good.
Yeah, let's try something else. This game's boring. This game sucks. Let's play something else. That was the immediate when I'm getting my ass kicked. Dude, this game sucks. This game's boring. Let's play something.
Yeah.
Let's play baseball or something.
So just for information's sake, apparently some of the details about what angered Tommy Pham to slap Jock, just for the sake of knowing it, is apparently Jock Peterson in his league, one of his players was injured, but he was ruled out. Not injured, but out. And he put the someone who was out on the injured reserve or the injured list, and then picked up someone else from free agency to do that. Point being is that that's legal, but it's not. It's the unwritten rule that you don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Tommy Pham. So it's not just that, but then apparently Jock Peterson also sent a meme to other. He said he has friends from the Padres. He sent it on this group chat. He sent a meme to the Padres who were at the time. So this was last fall.
Yeah.
The Padres were crumbling as a team. Didn't make the playoffs. So Jock Peterson, as Ben would agitate, Jock Peterson sent a meme that was like 3 weightlifters, or I don't know, someone throwing a heavy bag in the air over their heads.
Yeah.
And the meme was that the Padres threw it over their heads and it landed on them. Like, kind of, the joke was that they were like hurting themselves and they were playing bad down the stretch. And this is his way of making fun of his own friends. But Tommy Pham was on the group chat. And Tommy Pham did not like someone make fun of his team losing. So
there is no quicker way of alienating yourself or making you be one of the guys that people don't want to hang with, other than not taking a joke. First of all, terrible joke, bad meme in general.
Terrible.
The fact that we can even get mad about memes is is ridiculous. But I also think in like 1700s, if Napoleon was throwing shade at the U.S., sliding some memes through like
Telegram,
carrier pigeons and shit like that would have been fire. If he just drops a letter on Jefferson's door and he's like, "What up, bitch?" And Jefferson's like, "Oh, this mother," that would have been cool. But dude, you get so butthurt about something so silly. Like, I get if you're competitive, right, and you don't like losing, and that's fine, and you're losing in real life, which is your actual job.
right.
You keep getting annoyed by it, but getting to the point where you start physically reacting, like, that has to do something. And notice all the stories that we told, we were all children, like 10, 11, 12 years old. So you have all that testosterone, you have all that stuff where you want to you're just angry all the time. You just want to I don't even know what to do with my hands, right? You're just a kid and you're just running into shit and jumping off stuff and being weird. That's one thing, but Tommy Pham's a grown adult. He's older than I am. I think he's 35, 34, 35, something like
Yeah.
that. So you know better. This is the same thing with the Donaldson thing. You can't hit him. You can't hit him. And I get you want to, but as an adult, you can't. He had to I don't know if he even appealed the 3-game suspension, or if he just sat out. He just sat out all 3 games. Yeah. So I mean, he had to have known he was wrong.
He said he agreed with it.
Okay, so I mean,
if
at
you
least
were in
that's,
any other
that's some
job,
sort of
been arrested.
I guess recognition or what's the word I'm looking for? Being conscious of your own actions, I guess, knowing that okay, I deserve to be suspended because I hit this guy, but also letting it get to that point, letting it bother you this much that we're now 8 months after the fact. If we're talking October,
Right.
Yeah.
That's ludicrous to get that mad for that long.
Dallas, you said something. If he was working a regular job, would you say that?
Yeah, I mean, if he was at State Farm or something, he could have been arrested for slapping his colleague like that.
Yeah.
In any other job, I mean, this
So
is
you work in a hospital. Let's just say a doctor walked up to you, smacked you across the grill. It's I didn't like what you were saying in the Slack. That's an app that people use for inner work messaging. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah.
But it's I heard you talking shit in the Slack, and he just cracks you in the jaw. Bro, first of all, we're fighting, and second of all, you're going to jail. That reminds me. Did you guys see that video that came out? I think it was a couple weeks ago, so it's old now. But it was a flight or a guy working at an airport, working behind the counter at the airport.
Yeah.
And he gets into a physical altercation with the guy in line. The guy happened to be an ex NFL player, right?
Oh.
So the dude working at the TSA or whatever comes around the corner and smacks the NFL player in the mouth, and then gets in his face. So then naturally the NFL player knocks him out, and it's hilarious. But so obviously the guy got fired. So to Dallas's point, if you do this in the real world, you get fired. You can't just put your hands on people.
Right.
But baseball's hey, you sit out 3 games.
Timeout.
Sit in your $1 million locker room and you do nothing, and you sit on your hands and you do nothing.
Rich people live a different world, man.
In fairness, well, just to say, Ben, you're right. Tommy Pham is 34 years old. So, yes, he is a grown adult. But then he's only hitting .217. He only has 3 home runs.
He's well past his prime, yeah.
He's playing for the Reds. It's I mean, his suspension is this whole year. So
he's getting suspended by having to cash a paycheck that says Cincinnati Reds on it. So that's your punishment.
A quick last question about this: if you were, how much damage does Tommy Pham do to his possibility of getting traded to a decent team or have a career past this year? He's already hitting badly. Does this damage his possibility of a future career, or is this just another blip on his resume?
I think his playing is that for him.
I mean, yeah, should.
What'd you say, though?
Nobody's going to trade prospects for him.
No, I mean, and to the point that Jake and I were talking about earlier, he's only batting, 200 or whatever, 214. Yeah. So, I mean, at this point, I think it's safe to say that he was probably at the end of his career anyways.
Yeah.
I don't know what a low 200s hitter is going to bring you, bring a playoff team. I don't know why you would trade for him in the first place. But if he were to hit the open market, dude, he might get a minor league deal next year, with a spring training invite, some shit like that. But they're hey, we'll kick the tires, see if there's anything left, for a team let's say, the Pirates, or that's why the Reds bring him in. We're bad. But if he can do something, if he can do something for us, maybe to your point, we can flip him for something down the line. But I think, his production being so low is what hurts him the most, because teams will overlook a lot of shit in order
Yeah.
to bring in
Yeah.
a talent. Like, and granted, that's changed recently over the years, but like Trevor Bauer's out of baseball for 2 years, right? Essentially, he was gone all
Yeah.
last year. Basically, he's going to miss a significant portion of this year. But Odubel Herrera on the Phillies,
Yeah.
and I believe there was someone else too who are still. Chapman, like Rolls Chapman, got
Yeah.
in trouble for spouse stuff, like spousal abuse, and yet they're still actively playing, and Trevor Bauer's not. So it's like baseball's a weird, hypocritical jungle of like punishments and stuff, and it's hard to determine what's right. But I think to answer your question though, I think Pham, uh, the fact that he's 34, probably going to be 35 by the time next season starts, he will just not get an opportunity because he's at the tail end of his career.
Yeah.
More so than this, more so than
Yeah.
just bitch slapping Jock Peterson. But
I will say this of all the stupid storylines that baseball's come out with, for some reason this has hit the like culture, like this become just news in general. Like people are like relating to being angry over something so frivolous or fantasy football. So in some ways this is like good PR for baseball that
people are talking about
I
the
don't.
sport.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, never condoning it. Because again, you're an adult. You're a freaking adult. Stop hitting people.
Seems easy,
That's something you
I
teach
mean,
kindergartners: stop hitting people.
right?
Yeah, but I mean, I get that you might. So fantasy football is $1 billion industry. I mean, it is bigger than some sports, like with the amount of
yeah,
money that they're bringing in yearly and stuff. So it is a big deal. And like I said, if you're a pro athlete, you're putting significant money on the line in order to play in this league or whatever, right? I would assume. Again, I don't know the exact details, and I'm sure players don't want to divulge how much money because that makes them look bad in a sense,
yeah,
right? But
yeah.
I don't think Tommy Pham's going to be in the league again this year. So this is just a shout out to Jock Peterson. If you need a champion in your league, um, I'll take a small loan of $1 million, and I will join your league and bring home another one of those. There we
All
go.
right, that's
There
fair.
you go.
So I do want to hit third base real quick, and this is because the first topic has to do with a team that Dallas, before the season started, picked to win the AL West.
Yep,
It's the Seattle Mariners.
that's right.
Entering this week, the Mariners were 8 games under 500.
That's right.
So they take your pick. Is it time to panic,
Oh no,
or do you still believe in them, Dal?
staying patient. Just be patient. Not even in June yet. May 31st. A lot of playing time.
It's June 1st, my guy.
Yeah.
Oh, it's in it. Is it May 31st?
Tomorrow when the video
If
comes out.
if you see the graphic, it says
I see that,
whatever.
but I'm reading the actual date. All right, look,
I
June,
You have
all
a
June
watch?
1st.
What year is this?
Yeah.
1996. You dork.
It's got a calculator. And
You
stuff.
too.
Isn't that cool?
Hey guys, I have a phone right here at all times.
it's a Fitbit. All right. Sorry,
Dude, my
All
Fitbit
right.
would have quit working. It would have been like, you need to get off the couch
you're
3
dead.
months ago.
3 months
All right.
ago.
So Dal, not time to panic. So
Oh, no.
you're sticking with them.
100%.
Oh,
All right, Ben. What do you think? Panic or no?
I was never a big fan of the Mariners, even from our just audio versions of our podcast when we were doing that.
Yeah.
I was not on board the Mariners bandwagon. So this is right about where I expected. But I also did make 2 wild accusations and predictions that are very clearly not going to come true. So I can't fault Dallas too much.
What's
Um,
that? What's
That
that,
was
Ben?
the Cubs, 97 wins, and the Rangers winning the AL West.
Hey, the Rangers are 1 game under 500.
That's right, baby.
or 2 games under.
That's
I'm
right,
sorry.
baby. We're still better than the Mariners.
Yep.
So we won't finish last. We won't finish last.
Tight race
Um,
for last.
yeah. Me and you will have to put a side bet on who finishes last in the
Who
AL
finishes
West.
in last place?
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, realistically though, I was never high on the Mariners. I didn't think they had the offense to compete. So that's my thing. But yeah, so they're right about where I was. So I would say not time to panic because
He was never
this is
panicked.
where I thought you would be.
But I would say this: if you are the Mariners, who you thought you were going all in,
Oh,
maybe
sure.
you didn't. Maybe you thought we're trying. I would say panic, trade some guys, do whatever. Especially if you're, I mean, you're already 8 games under.
So I was going to ask you this: at what point would they have to make a move to decide if they're buyers or sellers? Like if they're third in the West at the All Star break, right around 500, knowing that the Astros and Angels are probably going to be way ahead, do you just say, fuck it, I'm going to be a seller and move Ray, move whatever pieces you can, get some minor leaguers in there, or do you just ride it out, try to buy something?
The problem with being just 500 in the AL is that you are not going to make the playoffs.
No,
Like
too many good teams.
500, you have to be like, I would say if you're 10 games over 500 at the break, you have a chance, but you're not guaranteed. Like right now, the Angels are in second place and they're what, like, I think 10 plus games over 500, and they're in second place, and they're the last place wild card team. Like they're not.
Yeah.
So you have to be great, or you have to be way above it or above average. So I think it's time to panic if you're the Mariners. But the problem is you have to stick with this team, and if they don't turn around, then then you trade some players away. But all their big players that they just signed, they have massive contracts. They have big money coming, and it's going to be hard to want to trade for someone who's getting paid $20+ million a year. You're going to want a lot back, and they're not going to be able to get that from anyone. So I kind of just see it as like panic, but you can't really do much. And we actually did talk about this next one in our group chat. There's no memes making fun of each other yet,
Not
but
yet. Yeah.
in this group chat, the Nike City Connect jerseys came out, and something that we were talking about was there were 2 Nike City Connect jerseys that came out at the exact same time.
Yeah, so I guess the Angels one was leaked. The Angels one was supposed to get like a big reveal like the Rockies, but the internet.
Yeah. So the question I had is kind of the same question I put on the group chat, which is here. I'll put up so we can kind of look at it together.
Ooh.
So we have this Rockies jersey and this Angels jersey. So this is the Rockies City Connect jersey, and this is the Angels. And then if I want to next one. So this is the mock-up for what the Angels one's gonna look like. This is the Trout on the right, and on the left you have Blackman in the Rockies City Connect. So Ben, I know you said you were more in favor of the Rockies. Are you still leaning that way?
So I hadn't seen this new picture of Trout here. I only saw the first one that I had sent you of them sitting on the water. Yeah. And it looks white in the one on the right, like white and red.
I think it's like
But that
cream.
looks more cream now. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I think it looks better being cream and red
Yeah.
than the white and red. Like I thought the white and red was just kind of boring. I'm not a fan of the number on the front of the jersey there, like in the little diamond. I know the Rockies obviously have the world's biggest number on the front of their jersey, but my whole thing on the Rockies is I love the purple, and the purple and green as a color combination is so rarely used that it's a good
combination. On hat.
And rock, yeah, they have purple pinstripes going down their pant legs too
Hmm.
there, and
Yeah,
on down the side of their jerseys.
and
Um,
the Nike sign is purple too.
yes, yeah. So I think the Rockies, yeah, that might be one of my favorites that they've come out with yet. And I do like the Angels, like I said, more now that I realize that it's cream and red.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
still think the Giants one is probably the worst. Um,
Uh, yeah. I mean,
that was like with
probably.
the faded orange logo. It's all white. It's just it
Yeah.
looks fine. Obviously, I
Well.
bought the Cubs hat yesterday, the Cubs City Connect hat, which was
Yeah.
dope. But yeah, I'm going Rockies on this one.
So, Dallas, what do you think?
I like the Rock. I mean, the Rockies is bolder for sure. Um, it's just a nicer use of color. But the Angels kind of brings like a little classic vibe to it, and I agree with Ben. I like the cream over the white because if it were just white and red, it'd be like, why'd y'all even bother? Like
Yeah,
it's the same thing.
the font on the Angels is cool though. The more I'm
Yeah,
looking at it, the way that the kind of letters blend
yeah.
together like that,
I
Yeah.
like them
almost
both,
looks like
but
cursive, but not really.
yeah, I like that. I'd rock the Angels. I like the Angels.
Yeah. I showed these to Ellie, my wife, and Ellie kind of pointed out the Rockies one is a great artistic take. The Angels, not only fans of the team, like hardcore fans, but then like extended, just baseball fans would be more drawn to want to get the Angels one as opposed to the Rockies one. The one thing I would say is that I would wear the Angels jersey way over the um, the Rockies one. So I think
Yeah.
that's kind of where I'm at. Is that I like the artistic choices of the Rockies. I can't believe I'm making that statement about uniforms, but the Rockies one looks better. But
Yeah.
actually wearing it, I like the Angel one.
Yeah.
And you know what? Ellie did point out she's from California, or lived the majority of her life out there. She said that what she loves the most about that Angels picture that leaked was that she laughed that they just took this picture at the beach.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
why are you at the beach? You don't have to do this. And granted, the Rockies are, I think, is from looking at this picture right there, they have mountains behind them too. So it's not like they're
I'm sure they
standing.
didn't go to the mountains though. They probably just put a big screen behind them and edited
I
it.
don't know. That looks good. I'm not
It does.
I'm not sure. All right, so we're gonna cut from that real quick. All right, so I think we're there together. But I do have one last one, and that has to do with there are so many national broadcast baseball games nowadays. It kind of, I mean, I like it because you have more access to all these teams across the league that you may not be able to watch
Yeah.
that often.
More exposure.
But yeah, so not only for fans, but casual fans or
Yeah.
whoever. But I sent you guys a list. So they have Wednesday night games, they have Friday night games, Saturday night games, and then Sunday they have a morning game and then an evening game.
Eee.
So I don't know if you got a chance to look at that list, but
Yeah.
I wanted to ask us which national broadcast game do we want to watch this week. So I'm just gonna start by saying the Cubs have two games. They have Saturday against the Cardinals Saturday night. That's the second of their doubleheader. So,
Yeah.
but that's on Fox, and then they have Sunday night game on ESPN against the Cardinals. So I'm just gonna say we would default pick that
Yeah. I was going to. Yeah.
or one of those. But I would say from those games, those national broadcast games, what other game looks the most appealing to watch?
Hmm.
So to me, the most appealing game is actually going to air from when this releases later today, so Wednesday at 7 p.m. It's the Angels at the Yankees.
Yep.
And that's really just because you'll always want to see Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout play in Yankee Stadium against
Yep.
the number one team. They're both great this year. Granted, it's on FS1, so I'm not exactly sure what that's going to look like. But either way, that game, I think, is the most appealing game to watch. What do you guys think?
I'd have to agree with you. Oh shit! Of the list of games I was looking at, yeah, like it just seems like it's gonna be the most fun to watch, at least. Angels and the Yankees.
Yeah,
especially for people that don't watch baseball all the time. That'd be a good one.
right.
If we're excluding the two Cubs games,
Yeah.
I feel like
I don't have Apple TV, but I would pick Braves and Rockies. Just because I picked Braves to win the NL East, and so I like keeping an eye on them, just like seeing them. And anytime you get a chance to see Acuna play or any of them guys, you take it.
Yeah.
Look at.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I mean, it's going to be in Coors Field, so maybe they'll be. I don't know about their schedule of wearing those Connect jerseys, but if they were able to wear that on a national broadcast, that'd be fun. I don't think it's this weekend, but if it is, yeah, I'll pick that one just to see it. So,
let me give you guys the opportunity to explain to everybody why they have these Connect jerseys. What's it about?
Money.
That's
like a couple years ago they started letting players put nicknames on the back of their jersey.
Yeah.
Just for another reason for you to spend $200 to buy an El Mago jersey.
Gotcha.
So Ben has that hat. I have a City Connect hat. It's not this one, but I have it upstairs. Yeah, it's just money. Just capitalism.
Beautiful.
It's America. Capitalism reigns.
In fairness, soccer jerseys internationally, they have a new jersey. They have at least one new jersey every year. And that's also domestically, they have at least one new jersey every year. So they usually have 3 jerseys total, and then one of those 3 they cycle out, so you have a new one every year. And then if your sponsor changes, it's a brand new jersey, so all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, they're not playing with their alternate jerseys in baseball anymore, which I hate because those jerseys were awesome. I love it when I see the Devil Rays.
That the Devil Rays.
I forgot you're a big fan of the Devil.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, that's it.
Big Devil fan. Jake, favorite hockey team, New Jersey Devils. You're right.
Man, so right. I don't watch hockey, so I'm sorry.
Yo, speaking of hockey, do you guys remember how great Wayne Gretzky 3D hockey used to be? On the N64, the goalie would turn into a brick wall sometimes, or you could slap shot a puck into him and then have the whole net collapse down on top of him. Incredible. They don't make games like they used to, man.
They don't make as many games anymore. They make like 1 or 2.
You get one NHL game, one NFL game.
Yeah.
They've really narrowed that down.
People.
Monopolies. Horrible. All right, so Dallas and I, Angels and Yankees, and Ben, you want to watch the Braves and Rockies. Yeah, so we'll check on that next week, and we'll see how those games are. So I'll also post those national broadcast games to our Instagram, so you guys can see everything that's listed. So if you guys want to, you can check them out there. So you know what? Let's round third base. Let's just head home instead of doing a weekly take on the sports team, because I think we all agree most Chicago teams right now are either average or bad. So why don't we just do this? why don't we say, what's one thing you got going this next week that you're excited for? So I'll start just because, it's a brand new thing. I'll start us off. So, one new thing I'm excited for this week is this will sound lame. I'm looking forward to an off day, which is Sunday. I have to work out 6 days a week for this therapy program I'm doing. I have to work out 6 days a week. So I'm just looking forward to a Sunday where I can just sit back and just relax. It's simple as that. So,
Nice.
Dallas, what do you got going this week?
Kendra and I have been ordering and picking up some records. I've been getting back into listening to those, so I'm looking forward to just relaxing and checking them out.
Any particular one you like?
Oh, we just got an Amy Winehouse in yesterday, so we'll probably throw that one on. Check it out today.
She's a member of the 27 Club.
Is she?
Yes.
What
It's
is
not
it?
a good club.
She died at 27.
Is that a big
Her,
club?
Jimi Hendrix, like a bunch of famous
Yeah.
musicians both died at the age of 27. Yeah.
Well,
Weird.
Well, thanks, Dallas.
R.I.P. Amy Winehouse.
Dallas just bringing down the house. All right, so Ben, what do you got going this week?
I'm trying to think. Probably nothing. What do we have? What's tomorrow? What's today? Today's Tuesday? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yesterday being a holiday, jack me up.
Yeah.
I'm like a day
Yeah.
behind. I keep thinking today's Monday.
Feels like it.
Nothing, probably. I'll probably head into Homewood or something. I feel like I have something to do. Oh, Dave's coming over Friday. We're going to record.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah, so we'll have a new episode out next week for that. Or maybe this week. I don't know. I'm just putting them out when I record them. There's no set time.
Yeah.
But,
Cool.
so yeah, he'll be in town Friday night, I think. And we'll end up recording. So.
That'd be fun.
Cool.
Beep.
All right, so you know what?
What?
I know we had some technical difficulties in the beginning, and then we had some in the middle, but thankfully we haven't had any recently. So let's end on a good note.
There we go.
So we're going to end this week. You know what? Actually, before we end, Ben, you haven't done it.
I
Who's
do.
your favorite number 24?
Oh, I've been thinking about it all day. It's got to be Willie. Right? It's got to be Willie. Willie Mays. That's it.
That's a
In
good
my
one.
opinion, he's the best baseball player ever. So Willie Mays.
Yeah.
What about you?
To be honest, I didn't think about it until I
Right now.
literally said it.
So shout out to McNeil because his pick would be Griffey.
Right. Manny Ramirez, guys. Come on.
All right, Dallas taking Manny. Jake scraping the bottom of the 24 barrel here.
I have no idea.
All right.
Dale.
So now you got to give me two people for 25 next week.
All right, that's fine. I'll do that. All right, so we're going to end episode 24 of the On a Family Based podcast. My name's Jake.
I'm Ben.
And I'm Ron Burgundy. No, terrible. Too old. I'm Jeff. Jeff.
George.
I don't know. All right.
I'm also.
All right. So on that great note, we'll end. We'll see you guys next week. If you guys have watched all the way to the end, just subscribe. If you're watching this, we have this new setup. If you're listening, go to YouTube, check out our new setup for everything that we're going to have for our broadcasts, recordings. So we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.